Go. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Connected. I'm your host, DJ Is. Again, you can catch us here every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Man, I was just chopping it up with my team prior to starting the show, man, and you know, I just want to say we got some really cool, exciting things coming up soon. I'm pushing for next week, but you might see it in 2 weeks. Who knows? You know, I'm just excited about what we got going on. I mentioned in the last show that I was going to Japan. So some interesting things there for all my creators who work on music, DJs, musicians, singers, songwriters. I got a machine coming out, which I'm happy to tell you about. I was, you know, very limited on the information I was actually able to shoot you last week. So this week I can kind of dive into it. So what we have is called an ARC, and it actually allows you to loop yourself. For those, you know, for anybody who plays acoustic guitar and sings, you can loop your guitar, sing over it. For cats that work on beats, you can do your beats. Reads all the software, Ableton, you can do it in Pro Tools, all those things. So it's really cool, man. So I'm definitely excited about that. Got into working with this company called Zoom, which is based out of here and Japan. So they deal with, you know, primarily products that are cameras, film recorders, and the whole nine. So as we go, I'll be able to kind of just share a little bit more information on this actual drum machine that drops next month. All right, so keep your ear on that. Let's see what else. We got a couple things that's exciting, but I feel like I'm gonna wait till I got my. Well, I don't even want to give away, but you know. The team might get on me for that, but anyway, so for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, we are on now episode 22, which puts us at roughly 115 jobs, I want to say, that I've been able to present here on Connect. So, you know, I was just talking to a friend of mine over the weekend who's actually in film, who's consistently tuned to the show, and just to be able to see the impact that we've been able to make, just even with, you know, what we got going on and what he's trying to do as far as career, is really exciting, man, and you know, kind of just keeps you going for us here in what we're doing. Let me see what else, man. I don't want to miss anything. I feel like, you know, with last show, I feel like, you know, maybe there's some things I quite wasn't able to cover, so I want to make sure you get your Q&A, your questions together right now, so when we get to the Q&A part of the show, that I can kind of dive through them and get those answered for you guys. All right. So anyways, man, I hope you guys all had a great weekend. Thank you all for tuning again today. So I'm going to kick things off. We're going to dive into our first grind op of the day, which is in the field of film. Production assistant. AMC's limited project, The Walking Dead Retrospective, is seeking production assistance. And this is in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, now here are the details. Must have strong work ethic. I mean, that's obvious. Must. Plus there. Critical thinking skills and a positive attitude, another must. Responsibilities will include preparing paperwork, running errands, and working with creative and production teams as needed. Candidate will be working a minimum of 24 hours per week. Irregular hours for set. Let me do the math there. Candidate will be working a minimum of 24 hours. That's actually not bad if that's a minimum. But again, you'll be responsible for prepping paperwork and running errands, and working with creative and production teams as needed. Now that sounds like it's a combination of kind of on-the-go gig, but also too in a very creative setting. You'll be working with folks, so you definitely got to know how to work with folks, how to work with people, and be positive, you know, good energy. We always encourage those things on any of these grind outs, because for one, nobody wants anybody showing up with a raggedy attitude. And, you know, just good energy, man. You know, good energy is always, there's always a positive, because it just kind of, it promotes the energy of getting things done and being happy about your work. All right. irregular hours offset. So, that could be, anytime they say regular hours, man, that might be 2 in the morning. That might be you're ending at, the wee hours. So you kind of want to make sure that your schedule can compensate those adjustments. All right. So that's super important. Again, this is in Atlanta, Georgia. I know a lot of folks in film that are based out of Atlanta, Georgia. So this could definitely be a great one for you guys if you all are tuning in. Also for our Recording Connection students that might be based out of Atlanta, definitely want to take advantage of this. So, I think the key things in this one is obviously you got to have a strong work ethic and you want to have some experience. It doesn't say here, but I'm starting to learn that with these grind outs we're presenting to you guys, it's really a great idea to have some experience. Like I said, the goal here is to always get in and take advantage of these opportunities and overperform. So definitely want to keep that at the forefront of your mind. All right, moving on to grind out number 2. This is in the field of radio. Radio assistant producer, executive producer seeking assistant producer that will support productions for broadcast, web, and social media. Web experience preferred. This is in Concord, NH. All right. Here are the details for this one. We'll be responsible for researching and finding necessary music, sound effects, and archival tape for the works in progress. Basic audio production, preferably Pro Tools. Deadline-oriented, comfortable with organizational tasks. Ideal opportunity for radio graduate or audio that is comfortable with working in fast-paced environment under strict deadlines. Again, this is, to me, this is another opportunity that stands out for our Film Connection students. As you can see, this one is asking for experience, preferred experience. Okay, so this one's interesting because it's super detailed in regards to job description, which is finding necessary music, sound effects, archival tape for the work in progress. So to me, that's obviously something that pertains to per project, meaning each project might be different. And then you got to find the content that kind of coincides with each project or with that particular project, whatever the vibe is. So you got to be able to you want to have a library of information in regards to music when it comes to that kind of thing, because you want to be able to identify with the concept and the goal and be able to pair music with it instantly, or have an idea in your mind of what will work and what won't. It'll save you a lot of time. They're asking that you be fluent in Pro Tools. So for those of you who might be good at let's say Ableton or Logic or any other ones, like I said, it's always good to know a variety of recording platforms, because you get an opportunity like this and they want you to be fluent in Pro Tools. So it's good to know them all. Again, like I always say, it's good to know a variety of platforms when it comes to recording, and even on the film side. I always say know your gear, know your options. All right. Deadline oriented, so that comes with being structured, on point, on time, and being able to execute. All right, so that's always a plus. And you got to be comfortable with organizational tasks. So again, that points itself to someone who has structure and the ability to be organized. You'd be surprised how many folks just don't have the ability to be organized. So this is a good opportunity for a radio graduate. I think that's why we definitely want to highlight this one for our Recording Connection students, because we definitely have those bases covered, especially with students who actually had experience in real time in the real workplace. And last but not least, you just got to be fast. It's a fast-paced environment, so you just got to be able to go and execute. These come with strict deadlines. Okay, so some of the grind outs we're beginning, kind of says got to be able to deliver, got to be able to be well organized and execute. But this one is saying strict deadlines, so there's no 2 days later, 3 days later. It's that date, is pretty much what they're aiming for. All right, moving on to grind out number 3. This is in the field of recording. Part-time sound engineer, hotel looking for live support engineer for venue operations and artist communications. This is in Portland, Oregon. All right, and here are some of the details for this one. Candidate must have a positive attitude, You know, it's interesting that these grind out details would have like that specific detail, right? You would think folks would show up and just naturally have a positive attitude, and you know, I mean, the reality is, it's, you know, common sense isn't always common. So, you know, I would say, you know, just, you know, it's something that we find ourselves having to reiterate for those of you who, you know, are looking to take advantage of these opportunities. All right, man, you always want to walk in through that door, energy, and just excited. All right. So you must have a positive attitude, a true love for music, and a desire to give musicians and the audience the best experience possible. Responsibilities will include maintenance of in-house system, setup and breakdown gear, liaison between hotel and bands, and report to and work directly to production manager. Time management is a must for this position. You know, one of the things that I've, you know, stressed, even outside of the show, just in the business that I've been able to conduct, even outside of just music, you know, one thing I've always stood by is the experience is everything. You know, I don't care if it's an album, if it's a movie, if it's uh, a new product. You know, when I think about just what people get excited about these days, they get excited about the experience and just the overall presentation. And if you look here, you know, having a true love for music, a desire to give musicians and the audience the best experience possible. You know, really at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Even when you jump into a grind up or interview, you want to give those folks the best experience of who you are, right? Because you'll find that a great experience will take you a very, very long way. You know, and that's even my rule of thumb even to date is, you know, when I get involved with companies, the overall goal is to give them a great experience. You know, if it's a great opportunity, if I'm investing the time into helping them come up with a product, my overall goal is to give the consumer the best absolute experience. And you know, to me, at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, man. It's about a great experience and really, really loving what it is you're doing. You know, because when you love what you do, you're gonna have a positive attitude. You're gonna have energy. When you hate what you do, you're gonna walk in, you know, with a janky attitude, you know, a bad vibe. And in this time and these days, like nobody wants to be around that. You know I don't. You know, which is why I love my team, because my team's got great energy, and that, you know, I look forward to my Mondays. You know, so at the end of the day, that's what it's about, man. Um, So another detail for this one is, you know, maintenance in-house system. So one of the things I've talked about too is a lot of these grind ops can be very technical, but also very, very creative. And you'll find that it's either one or the other, right? You're either great at being technical when it comes to the creative, or when you're super creative, you're not very technical. So you'll find that some of these grind ups are asking you to really be both, which can be tough at times. You know, it's being able to switch that gear. For instance, you'll be dealing with a hotel and bands. You'll be a liaison, so you got to know that communication and that posture is very different. You know, when you're dealing with, you know, people at the hotel, when you're dealing with the artists, a very different thing. So you just kind of got to know. You got to know the air in the room. You got to know how to read it. You got to know how to insert yourself, and just be cool. Be easy to work with. You'll report and work directly with the production manager. So time management, they're saying, is a must for this one. So again, being structured, being organized will keep you dialed into that clock and what those numbers are, so you can stay on focus and get what needs to be done. Let me see what else. You know, I think one of the things that definitely to keep in mind with being a sound engineer, especially when you get to dealing with the artists, you know, you'll come across artists that are cool, you'll come across artists that are jerks, and I think it's ultimately being able to help these artists, right, get to a place where they're comfortable with how they want their sound to be heard, how they want the audience to hear them. And I think you do your best to complement whatever that vision is. I've dealt with some in the past that are just, I'm just going to say it, they're just assholes. So, you know, I think in this in this day and age, like especially in that environment, you just want to always compliment what the artist is trying to do. It's tough because sometimes you're not going to get an artist that, you know, is the coolest cat in the world. You know, sometimes they're going to be real stiff. Sometimes they're going to seem like they're pissed. But just continue to do your job, man. Be stand up, be great, and just have a great vibe, great energy. And, you know, that's what it's about. All right, moving on to grind up number 4. This is in the field of radio, audio tech and board operator. Broadcasting company is looking for a part-time tech to run live and recorded programs. This is in Seattle, WA. All right. Let's see. These details are. Oh, hold on. Candidate must have experience operating radio broadcasting consoles. Potential full-time position. You must be available to work holidays and weekends. Candidate must have strong communication and organization skills. All right. I mean, that's pretty basic on this one. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. As far as working holidays and weekends, oh yeah, whatever weekend plans, I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm hanging with my girls. I'm hanging with my boys. That's where it gets tough. So that's the sacrifice. And the great thing is this is a potential full-time position. So, you know, you definitely want to get in there and you know, make your presence felt, because you can easily slide into a full-time position, which is always a great opportunity. All right, you got to have experience operating radio broadcasting consoles. So again, do your homework. Like I said, it's always good to know an array of gear and equipment, so that when you get into these situations where, you know, you're in this environment and you come across something that's you never really worked on before, you know, you don't want to slow down the workflow, and you want to be able to fly. You want to be able to do what it is you do, and that only comes with you knowing your gear and knowing a bit of everything that's out there. You know, for these kind of gigs, you know, you get in, you assess what they're using, and you do your homework instantly. You know, I always tell cats, you know, the quickest way to learn something or figure out something, just go to YouTube. There's tons of videos that you can find that are pretty much tutorials or cats filming themselves working on it. So that's always an option. But, you know, at the end of the day, you just want to be able to get in there and function and fly and work. So important detail for this particular grind up is you got to have strong communication and organizational skills. And I would say across the board with all these grind ups, that's definitely a must, having strong communication and organizational skills. You'll find that even with that characteristic, you know, it allows you to really knock down all the other things within these particular details for these grind ups. You know, with strong communication and organizational skills, everything kind of comes into play within those dynamics. So those are definitely, I would say, in my mind, at the top of the list as far as performance and presentation. If you have those two components, 9 times out of 10, all the other ones just kind of fall into place. So that's definitely important to remember. All right. Next grind up, which is our last one of the day. This is in the field of recording. Audio engineer. Publishing company looking for an audio engineer that will record writers' rough demos. This is in Kansas City, MO. And here is MO for this grind up. Audio engineer will be responsible for recording burning discs, uploading audio to servers. There will be live engineering opportunities available. Live engineering experience is a plus but not required. Candidate must have at least 1 year of studio experience. Okay, so this is like a really cool, sounds like it's pretty basic, especially for anyone that's an engineer. We all know, you know, burning discs and, you know, transferring audio to servers is not too intense. Now the recording side can definitely be intense, and I'm going to assume that any engineer that's viewing this today has some pretty decent experience under the belt, especially for our recording students at the Recording Connection. I don't think I really need to dive into the details of the recording process for an engineer. I think if you're tuning into the show, you pretty much know the ins and outs for that. But there'll be live engineering opportunities available, so they're saying live engineering is definitely a plus as far as having experience. That's definitely a plus. And if one thing I can definitely comment on is live engineering versus live recording are two different worlds. So for those of you who are in either fields, recording or live, it's just good to get some information and experience under your belt, especially if you're a studio engineer. It's always good to reach out to folks. And the engineering world is a really small world. So you're either a live engineer or you're a recording engineer. And there's definitely just some things that kind of work hand in hand as far as being able to apply the same kind of things. However, when you get to like the venue side versus the recording room side, two different dynamics as far as the acoustics, and different techniques are required for each application. So it's just good to know those things, especially when you get an opportunity like this. You just want to be able to know what it is, what gears you need to switch, so that you can obviously execute the goal at hand. And you got to have at least 1 year of studio experience. So you already know, if you got a year of studio experience, you kind of know what that entails as far as the recording process. But I don't really see burning disk and uploading audio to servers being a challenge for anybody looking to dive into this particular grind op. So guys, that is our last grind op of the day. So now we get to move to something a little cool, a little something more we can shoot some information. If you got questions, I told you guys to get your Q&A ready, and it looks like we actually got some questions. So let me see here. Another thing before I get to these questions, be sure to click on your right side of your screen. We have the apply link, which is the way to apply for these grind ops. You should see that. Also, too, these grind ops are available to everyone, not just Recording Connection students, but we're making them available to anyone who's tuning in. So as long as you're here live and direct with us, you can have access to these grind ops. If you're looking to become a student or would like to join the Recording Connection, well, you can go to www.recordingconnection.com. There you'll be able to see everything in regards to what we do and what we're in the process of doing. Also, too, you can also reach us at, make sure you jot this down, you can reach us at connected@rrfedu.com. Matter of fact, I just had a couple folks ask where they can send music, tracks, and stuff like that. So you definitely want to make sure you shoot all that info to the website and to that email address. All right. All right. So Dwight, I see Dwight here often, man. What's up, D? Thank you for tuning in again. I come to you and connected from an article I read, and I was wondering, are these grind ops only available to students at the connection? They are for a limited time. So you definitely want to make sure that if you happen to come across a grind op that you find very interesting or something you want to have access to, man, just jump on it right away. I'm not sure what the time frame is for our grind ops, but it's definitely a limited amount of time to where other people may have access to them. So we're bringing them to you first. So man, just make sure you get in there and go for the grind ups that you see that you want to kind of dive into. All right. So I hope that answers your question, D. Uh, Let me see. Can you give us a little history on your beginnings and how you achieved your success? Um, Man, it started a long time ago for me. I started out on drums when I was 5, and my father was a musician, and so we always had gear and equipment laying around the house, and my dad always had the latest drum machines, samplers, and pretty much evolved from playing drums to, messing with these drum machines and started sampling my dad's vinyl. And next thing I know, I was making beats and kind of just evolved into writing songs. And really just kind of got my music to folks. Music, just kind of was able to circulate my music, and everything kind of just kicked off from there, man. And was a very long road, but that's the short version. I don't want to take up the whole time in the show, but that's kind of the short version, man. That's kind of how I got my my career going, and it started from me being a drummer, and everything kind of just eventually fell into place, after years and years of hard work and trying to meet the right folks, and just trying to be present for opportunity, and that's kind of how everything kind of came to fruition and came together. All right. Let's see. Moving on to the next question. Who does pain, or what does paying your dues mean? Uh, Man, honestly, paying your dues, man, in this day and age, you know, folks don't really know what it means, and paying your dues at the time I was coming up was really just, uh, man, start from the bottom. I hate to say it, but it's like going through a mental process of telling yourself, I'm gonna just, before I focus on what I feel I'm entitled to, what I should be earning, what I should be getting, I'm just gonna be a fly on the wall and sponge up everything I possibly can. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, and I'm just gonna learn. To me, that's what paying your dues is. Man, you shut up, you be a fly on the wall, and you learn, and you learn, and you learn. And one day, maybe somebody might ask you for your opinion or ask you for some information. Somebody might, say, "Hey, man, let me see you do what you do. Let me see. Okay, you engineer. Okay, cool. Let me mix this music for me." And then that's when your opportunity comes, and then you got to be able to deliver. So, paying your dues is a very important component and fundamental to getting in the game and learning. A lot of cats these days, it's like they know everything. There's no room for growth. There's no room to learn anything, and it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Um, your experience is what validates you, not your entitlement, not your talent. Your experience is what validates you. So I think that's definitely important for those of you who are tuning in, who are looking to, be an aspiring engineer or videographer or filmmaker or songwriter or musician. Definitely want to keep that at the forefront of what it is you're doing. And just the mentality. The mentality should always be to really get in there and grind and work hard and just keep going, keep going. You're gonna have your road bumps. You're gonna have your trial and error. You're gonna have your mistakes, but you just gotta keep going. You gotta keep grinding. If you love it that much, trust me, you'll keep going. Um, let's see here. Also, too, the main way the recording connection can help you get your music out will be through the connections you make taking the program, the audio engineer, who is your mentor, and producers and artists you meet while apprenticing in your mentor studio. That's another way we do it here. We actually put you through a mentoring process where you sit with somebody in real time, and you kind of get your traction there. You kind of get your experience there. But at least it's with somebody who's really in the game and doing it in real life. So those are some of the cool things we do here at the Recording Connection. So definitely keep that in mind. Let's see here. How long does it take to be an overnight success? You know what, man, that's a good question. I think to be an overnight success, it takes damn near 1,000 overnights. You know, the thing is, I don't know really what the value is in being an overnight success. You know, what I can comment on or account for is the work I've had to put into being where I'm at. As you know, the value's there. You value it more. You do, you know, you do more of your best to maintain it and to continue on growing. You know, when it's an overnight thing and it kind of just fell in your lap, it's hard to really appreciate that. You know, it's hard to really, you know, understand it for what it really is versus the sweat, the tears, the blood you had to put in. Um, Two different dynamics. And you know, you know, for me, I think if anything had fell in my lap, I can't really say that I'd hold on to it and nurture it the way that I have when it's come to my craft and my passion. But because I've had to, you know, work, you know, 20 plus years, I think, you know, I value it, and I try to, you know, take care of it and maintain it, and you know, keep that passion first. So that's, to me, that's crucial in any journey that you're going through. Um, to just remember that, you know, the value is in the work and the sacrifice that it took to obtain what it is you love. So overnight, I can't you know, mine wasn't overnight, so I can't really comment on that. Um, but y'all know what's up. Um, Always an informative and an inspiration being here with you. Much love to D. Much love to you, Dwight, for constantly being here every Monday. You know, I see your name pop up all the time on my Q&A, man. So definitely keep tuning in, man. It's always great, you know, talking back and forth with you and answering your questions. Also, how long should my reel be? Um, I think a good reel is anywhere from, you know, a minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes, making sure it's just kind of very sparse, uh, very engaging, very exciting. You know, try not to have your reel be, you know, one clip that's extremely long. Kind of just take the most engaging, exciting pieces of work or presentations that you have. I know for me, if I'm looking at somebody's reel, I just want to see some really exciting, very informational content on this person. So just kind of keep that, you know, also, you know, at the top of your list when it comes to putting a reel together, making sure that it's the most exciting pieces of you and who you are and what you represent. All right. Let's see. What if I've never done something a job requires, but I know I can do it? Should I apply even though I don't have a real world experience in that exact requirement? Let me see. If I've done something a job requires, but I know I can do it. Well, here's the thing. There's a difference between knowing you can do it and knowing that you've done it. If you've done it before, but maybe not in a professional setting, then yeah, absolutely apply for it and go for it. But in a professional setting, if you know you haven't really done it, don't even do it. Don't even do it. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You know, if you've done it at the crib or you've done it with your boys or whatever, and y'all get together and let's say you film or you make music or you work on Pro Tools or you engineer, yes. If you've never done anything remotely close to what the job is asking and you have no idea, you just kind of want to get in there because you think you have the ability to learn, and that is not the time to learn if you've never touched it. So definitely I don't recommend it. Definitely don't recommend that. What was your favorite thing you saw during your Japan trip? What did I see? Well, I've been to Japan years ago, early 90s, and I've always known the Japan culture to be very, very kind of just extremely conservative and chill and kind of just I'm not going to say boxed in, but their posture is just very how can I say? I can't even say very chill. They're just very tamed in their expressions, I think. So I got a chance to go to this kind of area city in Japan called Roppongi, where culturally this specific area has really kind of diversified with foreigners and just even Japanese that are really non-cultural, meaning, you know, they're a little more outgoing. You know, there's clubs, nightclubs. They go out, and it's a little more. It kind of mirrors a little more of what the States here is, as far as just, you know, the town, the nightlife, and various things. So that was kind of exciting to see, just to see the different dynamics of the Japanese culture in that fashion. Whereas outside of Roppongi, it's very traditional, very, you know, very reminiscent of what I remember it to be. Then you go to Roppongi and it's nightlife. Everybody's out walking the streets. You know, completely different experience. So that was kind of like one of the things that stood out to me about Japan. I've never seen that side of Japan. So that was cool. That was definitely a great experience. You know, being out in Japan till 3 or 4 in the morning. You know, listening to music, seeing other, you know, just Japanese people just out hanging, dancing, and drinking. Pretty different. So, guys, it looks like that's about it for our Q&A. Remember, if you're trying to get at us, here's where you can do that. Jot this down. Again, you can get us at connected at rrfedu.com. So if you got content, if you're trying to just, you know, get in touch, show your work, your music, reach out, get more information, you can definitely hit us there. Or you can always go to www.recordingconnection.com. Shout out to my team, shout out to my squad. I know I spent a little bit of time talking about what we got coming at the top of the show, but I'm very excited. These next couple of weeks, you're going to see some cool additions, changes, and, you know, it's always going to be fun because that's what we do. And shout out to my team for consistently making this happen for me and allowing me to come to you guys every Monday. Again, we are here every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, hope you are able to kind of see what we do and what we're bringing to the table. You know, unlike any other thing that's out there, we're doing it, and we're the first ones to do it. So I stay proud about that. Gotta stay proud about that. So shout out to Brian, Howie, and Mike for holding it down. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And I'm excited where the show's going. So, yeah, have a great week. Get out there and grind. Get out there and make it happen. Again, this does not happen by itself. You got to put in the work in the application. All right? Have a good one, y'all. Peace.